Welcome to Expedition Networking, a special segment of the Networking RX podcast. I'm Frank Agan, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections, and your host for this program. For those of you who are familiar, on the Networking RX podcast, we share information and have conversations with experts, such as authors, researchers, and social scientists. And all of these programs are aimed at helping you learn how to become better at building professional relationships and understanding why they work. In this Expedition Networking segment, however, we're going to bring on successful entrepreneurs and unique professionals and explore their networking adventure and learn how they used relationships to create lasting success. Today on Expedition Networking, we have Gil Rodrigues, and he is the founder and CEO of White Rabbit Business Solutions. He's out in the San Francisco Bay Area. The tagline is where it's networking made easy. Little TM there. He's got that trademark. Nobody take that. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Frank. Happy to be here.
What I would like to do is, I guess, if you could quickly tell us what White Rabbit Business Solutions is, and then I guess the journey, as to how you came up with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So White Rabbit Business Solutions is something for small businesses to network, to be found, and to be heard, basically. I started the business before COVID, where I was doing live events in person, and I've been called the matchmaker, I guess, for a better way of putting it, where I was connecting business owners together where they could, network with each other, where they could help each other, and, business could come from that. And it's not anything to say as far as I was putting businesses together so they could sell to one another. It's always about the relationships that can be built where, synergy can happen and, one business can help the other business through mutual connections, or, if they have clients looking for the other services. But anyway, this was done all in person, and it was a lot of fun. I would just work the room and just, put different business owners together. There would never be anybody standing in a corner alone. And it was good. It was a lot of fun, high energy. And then COVID happened, and everything had to go virtual. So, from being in person to going online, things changed a little bit. If anything, it seems like it's a little bit more difficult and challenging to get people to come onto these Zoom networking events as it was in person. In person, seemed easier. I guess when you have food and drink involved, people will come.
Yeah.
So that's been a challenge, but I have events, once or twice every month, networking events where these small businesses gather and just share their stories and what they're looking for. And a lot of businesses to be had, and it's a good time. I also have a platform that I am turning out to the public, where the community can find these small businesses also. It's kind of the Chamber of Commerce versus the Yellow Pages versus Angie's List kind of thing, where, the community can find, these small businesses right in their backyard to help them out in whatever it is that they need as far as products or services. And that's basically, in a nutshell, how White Rabbit kind of came about and what it is that we do.
What did you do prior to this? What led up to it? I mean, you didn't go to high school saying, well, I want to have mixers.
My whole life, I've always been a connector. I've always gotten along with everybody, and people have always kind of spilled their guts to me and told me, everything about them, their life story. And so I've always been a nurturer and a helper for people. And it just kind of came naturally. I was in a position back in 2006 where I was in transition, and I needed to do something different. I got recruited by a company doing sales, and I never really had done sales much before that. And got involved with networking, and the rest was history from there. I fell in love with the networking part more so than the sales job that I was in. But I've been doing networking ever since then. So it's been over 12 years that I've been involved in it. different networking groups, chambers of commerce. I'm on a chamber board. I'm an ambassador in different chambers. And so there's been networking going on for, a good dozen years plus. And it's just something that I really enjoy doing. And it's just the interaction with the people and helping out and, having the integrity to doing the right thing by the people.
Yeah, that totally resonates with me. I'm part of a not-for-profit. Well, it's an association of not-for-profits. They come together and they share information, and it's something I put together probably 6 years ago, and it's grown to the point where we're getting a board. And I just told the board, I just said, listen, you know what I love to do? I don't love to do the administrative stuff. I don't like to, the reminders. I don't want to mess with the website. I just want to bring people to this. I just want to connect with people and introduce them. That's my magic.
Yeah, I feel you. I couldn't agree more. Agree more.
So what did you want to do like when you were in college and that? What was Gil 1.0?
Yeah. I honestly went to school and graduated in business, and I wasn't really sure which direction I wanted to go in. As a kid, I grew up and I was a huge Brady Bunch fan, and I wanted to grow up and be an architect, to drafting all through high school and everything else, and thought I was going to be an engineer, and chemistry just kind of hung me up there. So I switched to business, graduated with a business degree, still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And, as the years went on and things just kind of happened, I fell into this whole networking role, which I love. And, it's definitely me for sure.
Yeah. Are there charities you get behind, things that you're passionate about? Or,
so I have multiple.
Well, I asked that because I would imagine somebody like you, everybody wants to get their fingers into,
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm always one, to listen to anybody, to help out. I've been involved in many charities, and I personally have multiple sclerosis. So it's always kind of been a little special to me. And if there's anyone charity that stands out more than another, it's probably the MS Society.
Okay. Well, I guess let me ask you this. I mean, you're this connector. At what point did you realize this networking thing? Because they don't teach it in college. They just
no. Yeah, they don't. And so when I first started in networking, I was in a networking group, and I had no idea what was going on. I got invited by somebody. I went to a meeting, and I was so impressed, but I didn't know, the proper way or what to do or anything. And you get to meet people, and I had a couple real good mentors, and I'm still in contact with. And you start developing what works, what doesn't work, and what feels good and what doesn't feel right. I'm a person that, I don't lie, I don't cheat, I got high integrity. And so networking to me was a way, to kind of go about my business in a manner that, people want to connect to one another. People don't want to be sold to right out the gate, and everyone's looking to build relationships to do business with. They just might not know it, or not know how to go about doing it. But relationships really is everything. And for me, I've always been that type of person. So the networking thing came naturally, and I just had to kind of figure it out on my own. Whereas now, I guess it's a part of giving back, where I like to help, business owners, especially new business owners, just an understanding of what it takes, to properly network to make money for your business.
What do you think the number one thing, or some of the things that really trip people up? I mean, there are lots of things, but the big ones.
The thing is that, especially with new business owners, which I completely understand it, but the thing that they get hung up on is money, and they get hung up on a sell. And I understand you got to put food on the table and you have to sell. But one of the things that they don't want to take the time in doing is networking properly by building their relationships, because, to build relationships is more about a referral based sell program. And the thing is that it takes time to nurture and develop these relationships where people feel comfortable with you and they know, like, and trust you enough, to refer people and business to you. But until, people know you and like you and trust you, that's not going to happen. So the thing is that you have to move from that sales mindset, to add to your arsenal this whole relationship networking type of thing, because over the long haul, it's better business to write. It's easier business to write. You don't have to work as hard. And with this whole sales thing, if you're going to do business just by, figuring out who your next sell is, it'll always be like that. And then every day is a grind because you don't know where your next sell is coming from.
Yeah. I think we all go through that. It's just a question that some people get stuck in that whirlpool, if you will, or
Right.
and other people spin out of it pretty quickly, whether somebody is teaching them or they just kind of figure it out. And
Yeah,
it is
hopefully they figure it out.
Yeah. But I do see people who they're out there selling and they're 50 something and they're pushing hard. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's just, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. And you're going to grind for the rest of your life if you set yourself up like that. That's a tough road.
They must have massive networks because they're just burning through people. And they just constantly have to replace,
Exactly. And especially today with the COVID environment that we're in, I always tell these business owners that, you have to network today because there's so many businesses that have gone under, especially, like in the restaurant industry. People don't know if you're open, if you're closed, what's changed with your business. Your hours different, your prices are different, your menus are different. You got to get the word out there. And for these small businesses, especially, like I said, there's so many that have gone under. If the public doesn't know that you're still around or what's different, they're not going to know, and they're not going to think of you to go do business with. So networking is something that can be free. You don't have to pay for it. And, it's the best form of advertising, I think.
I totally agree. I have a podcast on it. If you could go back and talk to that 18-year-old self, what advice would you give yourself?
Honestly, I would tell myself, do the right thing, stay the course, great things are going to happen. Do right by people and listen more than you talk, and things will go right. And I'm a firm believer in karma, and, the reciprocity is a great thing. You do good by others and they're going to want to do good by you.
That's good advice. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about White Rabbit Business Solutions here for a bit. You kind of talked about it in the beginning. I was on one of your Zoom calls. Great people. That's kind of a free aspect you welcome people into. That was the sense I got. But then there's a paid piece. If you want to kind of go into a little more detail and describe the types of people you're looking for, what the benefits are.
Absolutely. So the networking events that I have that are once or twice every month, they're always going to be free events. But the business is a membership business where I have White Rabbit members in the business, and they're on the platform, they're on my website, where they're able to build a profile. They could put the information about their business. They could put photos, videos. They could post articles, events. They could do all these type of things, and the differences between this and other platforms like with Chambers of Commerce or other networking groups is this is something that is out there to the public, where the public can go and see these small businesses in the community, and see what it is that they do, has all their contact information and everything else. It's not something where a consumer would have to contact me to get to them. It's something that their information's there and they could contact them directly themselves. Some of the problems with these other type of businesses is, there's the middleman of the company that runs this thing. And, they put the word out to all the businesses that are there that can help this consumer. But the problem is the first person that contacts the consumer, if the consumer decides to go with them, that's great. But the problem is they continue to get bombarded by emails and phone calls from other people saying, hey, I understand that you need this service or a product, and I can help you with that. And, you can't put a stop to it once that's put in motion. So there's none of that happens with my site. It's just more of an awareness thing with the community knowing what these great small businesses are in their own backyard.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I was talking to a friend the other day, and his wife got a bonus through work. It was sizable, for whatever, she deserved it. But the money was kind of in and then to the broker. But immediately the bank picked up on it, and the bank's people were reaching out to her.
Yeah.
It's just like they knew there was money.
Right.
And same
money
sort of
does
thing.
funny things. Money does funny things to people,
Yeah.
and again, you do right by people and good things are going to come your way. And it's not always about the money.
True. Very true. Best way to get a hold of you through your website, White Rabbit
Through my website. Yep.
Okay.
whiterabbitbusinesssolutions.com. It can have, it has all my contact information on it. And if you ever need to get in contact with me, you can always email me at gil@whiterabbitbusinesssolutions.com also.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the program.
Frankie, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
To wrap things up, remember, we're looking for some enterprising business types to join our team as franchisees of AmSpirit Business Connections. Our franchisees work with entrepreneurs, sales representatives, and professionals in their area to help them become more successful through networking and the exchange of quality business referrals in a structured weekly morning meeting. This is a unique franchise opportunity, you see, because these meetings are in the morning. A successful business type or professional can add this franchise opportunity onto what they're already doing. Again, all of our franchisees do something else. For a couple hours in the morning, a few mornings a week, these franchisees work the AmSpirit Business Connections model. The rest of the time, they're attorneys, accountants, realtors, coaches, and consultants of various kinds. The wonderful thing is that not only do our franchisees realize a financial gain from operating the AmSpirit Business Connections model, but the business networks that they build and develop become a great source of referrals for their primary business as well. Perhaps you know someone, perhaps you are that someone. Whatever the case, to learn more about the AmSpirit Business Connections franchise opportunity, please contact me using the email in the show notes or the one we provide at the end of this program.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.